It's loading. And we are live. Trade deadline over here with George Sewell, Jack Dobbins, and Caden Stewart. Gentlemen, we got about an hour and 10 minutes left till the trade deadline ends, but we've had some blockbuster moves happen in the past couple hours, in the past couple days, too. Most notably, Tarek Skubal going from the Detroit Tigers to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think that's by far the biggest in the past couple years, I'd have to say. Give me your guys's for before we dive into what's to come. Give me your guys' immediate reactions. What were the first thoughts you saw when Tarek Skubal went over to Los Angeles? We'll start with you, Jack.
It was unbelievable, but obviously we all knew it was coming at some point. Skubal to the Dodgers had been rumored for a pretty long time. Caden even predicted it in my reel I made at the MLB All-Star Village. It was predictable. It was so easy to tell it was going to happen, and it finally went down. But the crazier thing is they doubled down, got Kris Bubic just a couple hours ago. They've acquired 2 all-star starting pitchers here at the deadline.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems unfair. They could have a 12-man rotation if they wanted to. I honestly didn't think it was going to be Los Angeles. I thought it was going to be Milwaukee. I thought that made a lot of sense for the Brewers. They definitely had the prospect capital to make that happen. I'm honestly shocked they didn't make that move. To me, that looked like a match made in heaven for Milwaukee, but obviously he ended up going to LA. What do you think, Caden?
Well, my first thought was, man, I really wanted to go to bed before I saw this. But then I had to handle the fallout of all that and try to figure out how to get myself back to sleep after being all mad for a good 30 minutes about that move. But yeah, it was kind of the same place as you guys with that trade package. That really seemed to be one that a lot of teams could have matched. Maybe it was the extension piece that a lot of people got scared about because then just who will leave? Do you got 3 top prospects for a rental? But even then, clearly it hasn't stopped many teams from giving up a high price for rental players. Even the Phillies giving up number 4 prospect for Luis Arias, which I like that move, but still the same principle applies to the Skubal move. You couldn't make that for Skubal. And yeah, it was pretty confusing in the moment. I did have him going to LA, as Jack said, so I'll take the credit there.
Yeah, and I guess we're segue into one of the other big moves that recently happened. You, Caden, being a Phillies fan, you guys got Luis Arias coming in from San Fran, one of the best, probably the best contact hitters in the game, besides maybe Otto Lopez, who we could possibly see get moved later today as well. But what do you see? What do you think with Luis Arias? What do you feel as a Phillies fan?
I feel like most people have that initial concern with him that he's not a big power hitter, and that's obviously a correct statement. But we have enough power. We have Schwarber, we have Harper. We're among the league leaders in home runs. We don't need any more guys that are power bats to strike out a lot. We need someone who's going to get on base and get runs from those home runs. Like I feel like every time I see a notification for a home run, it's Schwarber hitting a solo shot in a game where we're down 3 or 4. If you have Arias on base, 1 or 2 batters ahead of him, you have Turner coming on as well. Maybe Arias can knock in Turner a few times, depending on where they line up in the order. Although I would have Turner probably leading off and Arias batting second. But I think Arias is a great contact hitter. He brings an average to the team that we really need. You need someone to get on base consistently. And even if he gets stranded a little bit more often, it'll hurt the numbers and runners score position for the other guys when he gets on base. But I will take that risk, and I need someone there that can knock in some guys, be anything else besides a home run. And it's not like he's immune to home runs either. He can get a few long balls every now and again, but the batting average there, 3-time batting champ, it makes up for it massively.
And he's going to play second. Did I hear Harper's going back to the outfield?
Harper is going back to the outfield. I'm seeing that it should be Bohm at first. Stott probably goes to third. I've always thought that Turner might be well put for center field, so I was kind of curious as to why Harper was going to right. I mean, I can see why that would be the reason, but I've always thought that Turner was well fit for center field, so maybe they sent Stott over to short because he's played up often there, but we'll figure that out as it comes along. But I have seen that Harper is very interested in moving back to right field, and he has agreed to do that if need be.
Yeah, and I know you're a Phillies fan, but me and Jack, we're big Yankee fans, and I'll go to you, Jack, for this. Another huge trade that happened, not today, but yesterday, Luis Garcia got moved to the Yankees, and this kind of shocked me a little bit. I didn't really hear the name Luis Garcia in any of the rumors. You heard Abrams get mentioned a ton, but never Garcia, but I'm kind of in love with this move. He's leading the NL in slugging percentage. He's only 26 years old. His average, I believe off the top of my head, is 283. I really like this move. I know this is just a wild card. I did not see the Yankees going for him, but according to Jack's reaction, I think we have something going on right now. What do we got, Jack?
Yeah, we do. I'm not quite sure yet, but it looks like Clay Holmes is heading to the Chicago Cubs.
Really?
Yeah, via John Heyman, I had that same thing.
Wow. I'm just waiting for the note. All I got right now is MLB Network up. So Clay Holmes is good. Do we know what the Cubs gave up?
I will look. I believe it's a prospect because the name does not jump off the board for me.
I also see Tyron Taylor.
Yeah,
in
their
that.
number 2 prospect looks like.
Who's their number 2 prospect?
Jefferson Rojas, left side of the infield in Double-A.
Can't say I know the name, but
Career 257
just-
hitter in the minor leagues.
so the Mets kind of are in sell mode right now. You had Weaver just go to the Pirates, and now you have Clay Holmes going to the Cubs, and you had Peralta go to the Rays. That makes you think, is everyone else available on the Mets? Could we see possibly more moves come out of Queens?
I think it's possible.
And I've heard rumblings about guys like Luis Robert, so wouldn't be shocked to see him go in this final hour and a half as well.
And
Yeah,
but
it looks
unfortunately, I think the big name Francisco Lindor does not go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, as a big Lindor fan, I kind of want to see him out of my division now, or at least maybe to my team, but that's not going to happen.
It looks like, assuming the medical stuff comes back well, it should be Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor to the Chicago Cubs in exchange for the Chicago Cubs' number 2 prospect, Jefferson Rojas.
Wow.
I did not see
Be the
that. I
final.
didn't even think Holmes was going to get moved. I thought, this is a guy, this isn't like he's got a year left on his contract. They got some wiggle room with Holmes. And I think he's been, even as a Yankee fan, I'll admit that he's been pretty terrific this season when he has played, despite missing time with a broken leg. But when he has pitched, he's been pretty phenomenal for the Mets. So that move is pretty shocking to me, especially.
The last time I saw Holmes and rumors, I saw a potential back to the Yankees reunion a couple days ago. And I was like, I don't know where this is coming from, because I thought he was going to stay put. But how about that? Chicago getting him. There's the second report. So it sure seems like that will be going down.
And the Cubs have been making some moves. The Cubs, I feel like they got Gausman too. They traded for.
They did.
So the Cubs just added Kevin Gausman and Clay Holmes to their rotation within the span of 24 hours. The Cubs are putting together a really good ball club. I know Shota Imagama, whatever you want to call him, he's been disappointing this year. And now you're adding 2 of the most consistent pitchers in Major League Baseball. That's really good for the Cubs, especially with a good defensive team as well. Maybe they get a bat too.
Well, the primary reason for it is the injuries have just been killing them. Cabrera went down about a month ago. Ben Brown's been out for a while. Justin Steele still has yet to return. So adding Gausman, adding Holmes, to add to Imanaga, to add to Matthew Boyd, they're trying to build the rotation back. So come playoff time, assuming they can get Cabrera back and maybe even Steele or Brown, they could be a really, really strong rotational team.
Add that to a lineup with Pete Armstrong and Nico Horner if he's beginning to click. I know I just saw him play the Yankees. It looks like his season's starting to turn a corner a little bit. And one of the most underrated players in baseball, in my opinion, is Michael Busch, a really good left-handed hitting first baseman. And it's coming right across MLB Network now, the trade alert for Clay Holmes. But definitely starting to look like a more well-rounded team for the Cubs. Caden, what are your thoughts?
They're banking on the current team.
I do think it's a good move for them. It continues to add, as you said, a pitching staff that's going to get back a few guys from injury as well. I mean, as a Phillies fan, I'm still waiting for us to get that back end arm, so not very happy about it. There's one more guy off the market, but Casey Mize is still there. He could be a guy that big dominant that falls in this last hour or so. But as far as the Cubs go, they need that one last arm. I think this could be the last piece for them and that pitching staff. I'm not sure if their trade deadline is done yet, but it's a good way to close it out if it is.
Yeah, I mean, the last time the Mets and the Cubs made a trade, it was Javi Baez for Pete Armstrong. So we'll see how this one pans out. Not too familiar with the name Jefferson Rojas, but we'll see what he turns into. And as in the comments, we have Clay Holmes next year. It is a player option. So take that with a grain of salt. We don't even know if he's going to have the option to do anything next year with a pending lockout, but definitely a possible rental. But still, Cubs, like Jack said, injury riddled, especially on the pitching side. Holmes, granted, Spencer Jones doesn't hit another rocket off his leg. He should be pretty steady the rest of the year.
Another move just came across my screen as well from Jeff Passan. The Rays are acquiring right-handed reliever Tyler Wells from the Baltimore Orioles. So another Orioles trade away piece that the Rays get a good bullpen arm out of that.
The Rays are always going to be just hungry for good bullpen arms. They're always going to have a surplus of that. And in my opinion, bullpen arms are arguably a top 3 most important thing to win championships. First is obviously starting pitching. You can argue second is the lineup, but if you have a really good bullpen that could just shut down the opposing bats, that's huge. And the Rays need that. The Rays definitely need that this year. So I like that move as well for them.
Wells is a very weird case because he does not induce any ground balls whatsoever. He's a purely fly ball pitcher, second percentile in ground ball percentage. So the problem is with the Trop being so much smaller than Camden, will more of those fly balls turn into homers to inflate the ERA?
I think that's a great point right there. I think that's the risk you're willing to take. I'm just going through the names in my head. Who does Tampa currently have in the bullpen? I know they got rid of Fairbanks, if I'm not mistaken. I think they still have, what's his name?
Right now they got Garrett Clevenger with Brian Baker as their closer.
Okay,
but
so
it's a
definitely
weak bullpen. It's a very weak bullpen.
Definitely help needed. So yeah, that's a good move for Tampa. Do we see them staying quiet? I know they were slightly, and I mean slightly, but there was still a rumor out there of them possibly being in on Skubal. Do we think the Rays are still active, especially with the AL East getting a lot more interesting with Adley Rutschman getting moved from Baltimore to now the red-hot Boston Red Sox? Do we think the Rays keep going on moves, or do we think they just stay content with what they have?
I think they could have some small moves left to go. I don't think we're going to see any major blockbusters. I feel like their biggest move they were going to make was the trade for Liam Hicks, considering how hot he's been since being called up in 2025 to now be their starting catcher. I think this Rays team is poised to succeed, and assuming they can get some guys back from the injured list, including, McClanahan always goes down, but if they can maybe add another solid starter to put in maybe the 4 spot of the rotation, there's a lot of potential there for this team regardless.
Yeah, 100%. And if you're just...
there's another one.
Uh-oh.
Joey Bart to the Chicago White Sox.
Joey Bart, former top catching prospect.
2023 Panini legend right there.
Was he one?
I don't know.
No, you're thinking of Henry Davis, I think.
Was Bart 2 then?
I think Henry Davis was 1.
Bart was number 2 in 2018. That's what I
thought. But yeah. White Sox, you said?
Yeah, White Sox are acquiring him from Atlanta. So White Sox, they're making a lot of moves.
Yeah, they just got Brenton Doyle as well.
Yeah.
The White Sox.
Active.
They got a good little team there as well. You got Murakami, who's been great this year. Miguel Vargas, who's been terrific, an all-star this year. I'm trying to think on the pitching side. I know
they got Castillo just a couple days ago.
That's true as well. So they're buyers, the White Sox. Who would have thought a year ago that we'd be talking about the White Sox being buyers and really putting themselves in a great position to win the AL Central? What a turnaround for Chicago.
And kudos to them taking advantage of the opportunity as well, not just trying to shy away from it, maybe hedge their bet going into the playoffs. They're going all in, and I love to see that as a team that really wasn't that great at all coming in a few years ago.
Yeah, well, they were historically bad 2 or 3 years ago, so I definitely like that move for them. Man, MLB Network's so far behind. The Tyler Wells trade just came up on my screen. They're a trade behind. They haven't announced the Joey Bart one yet.
Yeah. That's how it is, You always get it quicker when you go right to the source.
Yeah, I think I'll get X open on my computer and just stalk the X and see what we got coming up.
In the meantime, the Phillies also made another minor trade. They're trading away Nolan Hoffman, a righty reliever. He'll go to the Royals, and we're getting back Cash and Manuel Colon as well. So nice little prospect added to the minor league system to replace maybe some guys that could be shipped off in the next few hours, or next hour, I should say, but over the past few hours as well.
So, I'll go back to me and Jack being big Yankee fans. Jack, what are we looking at with Cashman? Do we think that there's more to come? I think we could definitely bank on a bullpen arm. I'm not saying Mason Miller, but I think it's pretty likely the Yankees do get another bullpen arm. Not that they really need it per se, because the bullpen's been pretty good, but I do think they add one. But I think the move everyone wants is a catcher. Can the Yankees pull off getting another catcher? And the big name is Hunter Goodman. I don't see him getting traded at all. He's been the best catcher in baseball this season. He's been terrific. He's not getting moved, especially a guy with, I think, 3 more years of control. And it doesn't look like the Twins might be shipping Jeffers either. They've been making some moves. This is an incredibly weak division. The AL Central and just in total, the American League, it's not that hard to snag the last wild card spot. So I don't think Jeffers gets moved, and I think the only name left is Tyler Stevenson on the Cincinnati Reds. So do you think that Cashman makes it happen and and he gets Tyler Stevenson?
I can only hope. One of the things with the catchers is we've been rumored to get basically every catcher in the game over the last year. Tyler Stevenson homered off of Camilo Doval last night. So it's only fitting, right? We trade away Doval to Pittsburgh. His first outing, he gets homered off of by a future Yankee. It's only right.
I mean, my only concern is like supply and demand. We said Goodman's most definitely off the table, and we said Jeffers probably won't get moved. So if I'm the Reds right now, I'm jacking up the price of Tyler Stevenson little by little because Adley Rutschman's off the board. Another name, Joey Bart, just got put off the board. So if I'm the Reds and I really have the only available catcher, they might be asking for a little more than they should for a guy like Tyler Stevenson. And I'm not sure if Brian Cashman will go out and make that move. Maybe he does. I don't know. I'm trying to think, what would a Tyler Stevenson cost?
Whoa!
Looks like Jack has another move for us. He's been on the money.
About the Yanks.
Okay, wait, hold on. Pitcher or hitter? Outfield.
Interesting.
Is this good outfield or just a platoon?
I would say good. I would say there's a lot better, but
Jorge
I
Soler.
do like him. No, better.
Randy Arozarena.
Better
than Arozarena.
Probably similar tier.
Ward is off the board. Is this someone who's been on the block?
Not that I've heard.
So it's gonna give me division, and then that's the last
National
question.
League West.
National League West. Padres, Rockies. Not the Dodgers. Is the Heliot Ramos?
Yes.
Okay.
Not confirmed yet, but they're working on a trade for him.
I'll take it. A Heliot Ramos.
According
nice
to the Athletic. Huh?
A nice right-handed bat. The only right-hander to hit a ball into McCovey Cove. Little fun fact there.
I do like him a lot.
I like that move. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but in 2 or 3 weeks, this outfield's a little crowded. Jones has been playing great. Dominguez has been good. Bellinger's going to be coming back. Grisham's there. I'm not going to say he's good, but he's still there. Judge and Stanton will be working their way back into the conversation. I don't know what they're going to do with Stanton after this Luis Garcia trade. With him and Rice swapping at DH, that's a whole nother story. But that makes you think, could the Yankees possibly be setting up to move Jones and or Dominguez for another guy if they bring in a guy like Heliot Ramos? Because in my opinion, I love the trade, but I don't think it makes all that much sense when you're going to have at some point Judge, Bellinger, Grisham, Dominguez, and Jones, not including Ramos. That's 6 outfielders that could all make a case for a starting spot. So that makes me think the Yankees are possibly looking into a bigger move.
That's what I'm thinking. That's where I believe Dominguez is a part of the package for Stevenson. I don't know if that's likely, but I feel like you can't get another outfielder here unless you plan on sending 1 or 2 out, being the 2 that you've named. Nobody's taking Grisham's contract off the books. We have dug our own grave for that. It's Dominguez and Jones that are the interesting pieces. And I feel like both of them could easily be getting moved.
I think so too, but I don't love Dominguez for Stevenson. I think Dominguez has been honestly great this year. I know the numbers don't look that great, but if you just look at the physical eye test and just watch him play, he's got big hits. He's been pretty even from the left and the right side. His defense has been fine in right field. Don't put him in left, but in right field he's been pretty solid. But like we said, Heliot Ramos, there's just not, it just makes you scratch your head and say, this is fine. I like this move a lot, but there's no reason for down the stretch to have 6 starting quality outfielders. So I think definitely there's reason to believe a move is to come for the Yankees. But who is that? Could Jack, I'll ask you this, Caden, too. Could you also see a Mason Miller now possibly come? I know his name has been rumored, and his name is definitely the quality of Dominguez and or Jones. Could you possibly see him coming over from San Diego?
I've learned to never quite be shocked when it comes to the trade deadline, so I could certainly see it happening. Do I expect it? No, but I could see it. It's not unlikely. But the Padres aren't out of it by any means. They're only a game behind the Phillies. I believe they had the tiebreaker over us as well. I might be mistaken about that, but they're right there. So I don't see a reason for them to really go ahead and trade him unless they get a really massive offer. But as you just saw, the Red Sox trade away 4 total prospects and that major league catcher for Adley Rutschman. You can very well get that level of a package for a guy who's very proven to be an MLB level closer. And yeah, he's a great player. He could definitely fetch a good package, but he's not going anywhere unless they get that package.
Now, here's the thing. We're talking about AJ Preller here. We're talking about one of the
That's
most
very true.
insane GMs in all of sports. Anything could be pulled when this guy has the strings. So it's only time that will tell. Anything's possible. I think Mason Miller does have a great shot at getting moved, though.
Honestly, I know I'm the one who brought up Miller, but the more I think about it, this could be a situation where we said Goodman and Jeffers are probably off the board. This could be a situation where Boone dangles them in front of Colorado and Minnesota, Dominguez and Jones, and says, I know you don't want to trade them, but I got these 2 stud young outfielders for you. This is possibly the time where Cashman could work. I think Jeffers, if you're going to debate which is more likely to get moved, I think by far it's Ryan Jeffers who would get moved. So if Cashman goes up to Minnesota and he waves around Dominguez and or Spencer Jones, I think that could definitely make Minnesota intrigued and possibly interesting in moving Ryan Jeffers, because I don't think they're good enough to trade for. I don't think Tyler Stevenson is good enough to trade for them. I really don't. You need to add more if you're Cincinnati. You need to give me Matt McLain, and you need to give me something else. And I'm just a big Matt McLain fan. I feel like he'd be great for the Yankees right now. But what I'm trying to get at is even just 1 for 1, I don't think Dominguez for Stevenson is enough. And I'm not even going to say Jones for Stevenson is enough. So in my perfect world, this is where Cashman starts to lock in and go to the Minnesota Twins and start showing off these prospects and try and tempt them to trade Ryan Jeffers.
Cashman's a weird GM, man. You never know what he's going to do until it happens. Nobody was expecting us to go all in on bullpen last year with getting Doval and Bird and Bednar and everybody else at that one time. Everyone thought we were going to go behind the plate then, and we didn't. And so we'll see what happens. But, the Yankees are so inconsistent when it comes to the deadline. You think they need one thing, and they will target everything except for that.
Yeah, I mean, you've said it. I mean, I love Luis Garcia, but that came out of nowhere. I did not expect them to trade for a first base / DH. Again, great bat. He's going to be great in this lineup. He's making his debut tonight for the Yankees, but I did not expect that at all. I expected the urgency to be on the catching position, and now looking back on it, that should have been what the move they made yesterday, because I think the Rutschman trade just shakes up the whole catching market. I mean, Caden said the amount of prospect capital that the Red Sox gave up for Adley Rutschman. Look at how much the Reds and the Twins could ask for Stevenson and Jeffers. I think catcher should have been the first thing the Yankees got. Maybe Garcia would have been a move to make today, but I think definitely you should have been in a foot race against the Red Sox, and you should have won it. I'm not saying they should have got Rutschman, but you should have got a catcher as early as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. At least make it competitive. At least show that you're gunning for it. That way, if another team is even considering moving their catcher, it's like, oh, wait, this is a team that we could easily get something from, considering how much Boston put in.
Especially when Austin Wells is your starting catcher. It's not even the fact that you're competing with other teams. It's the fact that you have arguably the worst starting catcher in all of baseball. You have the worst catching room in Major League Baseball. This trade, a trade for any catcher dramatically improves your roster. That's the way I look at it with the Yankees. But one can only hope. We're at what time? My computer clock screwed up. Let me look at my phone. So it's 5:05. We're 55 minutes out from the trade deadline closing. And I think we're just in that waiting period. A lot of good trades, though, do happen between the 5:50 and right at the buzzer, 6 o'clock span. I think that's when most of the bullpen moves came last year. I remember Camilo Duvall, the notification came in at like 6:05 for the Yankees. So it's a waiting game, honestly.
So on the topic of catchers, real fast, that package for Joey Bart has been finalized. It's a straight up 1-for-1. The White Sox get Joey Bart, and Duncan DeVitt, the number 28 overall prospect, goes right back. DeVitt was a right-handed pitcher there in the system, expected to come up next year. So if we have baseball, we'll see how DeVitt turns out in that package. But straight up 1-for-1 there. Joey Bart for the number 28 overall prospect, at least in their system.
I wouldn't even mind Joey Bart as just an emergency move for the Yankees. I mean, honestly, I think Luis Torrens gets shipped to the Yankees if they do fail to get a Stevenson or a Jeffers. I think that's the move they make, just because your Cashman's back is going to get put against a wall, and he's still going to have Austin Wells as his starting catcher. You know, you can't go past the deadline with that. I think that just makes the deadline a failure for the Yankees.
My issue with Torrens is he's too defensively oriented. His bat contributes just as much as Wells, which is literally nothing. And I feel like when you're there behind the plate, you're looking for an offensive player. We're not willing to put Rice behind the plate for whatever reason. Maybe the pitchers don't like throwing to him. I don't really know what it is. But if you're looking for a catcher that's offensively oriented, which is what Ryan Jeffers is, which is what Hunter Goodman is, Torrens does not fit that build. Torrens would be a slightly better defender than Wells. That's about it.
I see your point. I definitely do. And I think the thing with Rice is a top 5. He'll be top 5 in MVP voting this year. I don't think the Yankees want to screw up his groove. I don't think they want to have him. I mean, obviously the risk of injury goes up. I think it would be a little awkward for someone who's played first base 3/4 of the season to just get down and squat behind the plate for the rest of the year. I'm honestly on the Yankee side with that, with not catching Wells. With not catching Rice. But that doesn't change the fact that you have to do something behind the plate. Now, Jack, and Caden, you could answer this too. If the Yankees were hypothetically to get a Luke Weaver and a Luis Torrens, would that deal be worth your while?
I think it'd be worth it. I know it really comes down to, again, the asking price for these guys, because I think that it's going to come down a lot more in this next hour. So maybe the later on we go, there could be a more viable option there. But it'd certainly be worth my while. I'm sure you guys have a better analysis of that from a Yankee fan perspective. But yeah, a 2-player package like that, you get 2 birds out with 1 stone. I'm always a big fan of those.
Jack?
Sorry, what was the question?
If the Yankees were hypothetically to get Luke Weaver and Luis Torrens, they're not getting anything else at the catching position.
We've already got traded.
I know, that's why I said hypothetically.
Oh, okay.
If they were able to bring in a stud back-end reliever, but that was your catching room, Austin Wells and Luis Torrens, would you be satisfied?
Depends what we give up. If we give up a little bit, then, maybe I'd be fine with it. Weaver back in New York is never a bad thing. The fans love him. He was stellar here. The fact we let him go is ridiculous to me because he had one bad stretch. I don't think it's fair. Obviously, I want a better catcher than Torrens, but I'd rather have Torrens than just stick with Wells, though.
Ramos is now a New York Yankee.
Okay. Official.
2 moves actually happening at once. Eli White is also going to the Red Sox, but let's talk about Ramos first.
Yeah, we said our piece on Ramos. I think just the biggest takeaway from Ramos is he's a good player, a former All-Star. I think he's going to help tremendously with Bellinger being out. I think he's going to pick up a lot of that slack. But I feel like this just sends a signal that the Yankees are gearing up for something more. Obviously, as a Yankee fan, that's my hope. And honestly, I hope to see going forward, Spencer Jones get some reps in center field and having Ramos and Dominguez be the corner outfielders, just with the way Grisham's been playing. That's kind of what I take away as a Yankee fan from the Ramos trade. I like it though. I think he's a good player. What did they give up?
We do
That's
not
what I'm
know.
still waiting on.
Okay. I'm interested to see that. Let me look at his numbers.
And then Eli White going to the Red Sox there. That's a good, nice move for the Red Sox again. Not a guy who's really a star level player, but a guy that always has a few good seasons, probably having his best year yet in the majors, 1.1 WAR, only a 691 OPS. So again, not awesome, but another depth piece there for the Red Sox. And I'm curious to see what that return looks like as well.
So Ramos is batting 264, 9 homers, an OPS of 728. This is in 306 plate appearances, 288 at bats. He's a year removed though from hitting 20 homers. His first 2 years in the big leagues, he hit 20 homers. OPS just trending between like 725 and 790 ish. So that's kind of the player you're looking at. Pretty horrible defensively, Ramos, but like I said, he'll be just a glue guy. We're not asking him to be this insane type player, but I like the move honestly. But I would be very confused if the Yankees don't move any of their outfielders after this. I just don't see a cause for it. If the Yankees are going after the trade deadline with Judge, Bellinger, Grisham, Dominguez, Jones, Ramos, that's 6 that you're looking at. And then you look at first base, you're either going to have Rice or Garcia or Goldschmidt playing there, with one of them being the DH.
And Stanton comes back, and you throw a wrench in everything.
I just see this very clustered. And like I said, it's a good problem to have, but I just don't see the logic in making these moves and not just looking to get ready to build up for a bigger move. Because like we've been saying, the Yankees have 2 very tradable young talent in Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez. It's not like teams are going to turn their nose away from them. And I think they get moved after this trade. I think the Ramos trade is the nail in the coffin for them. Let's just see when. 47 minutes and ticking left on the clock.
It's just the question is it one of them or both of them? That's the big question.
It depends on the name, I think. I don't think Ryan Jeffers is good enough for both of them. He's definitely not good enough for both of them. I think Goodman, though, starts to get into that conversation. I don't want to hear he plays in Coors. He's a damn good hitter, Hunter Goodman, that I would love to bring. I mean, just think of this lineup. Let's dream a little bit. Let's get a little way out of the picture with our dream. A lineup that has Judge and Rice and Bellinger and Garcia and Goodman and Stanton all in the same lineup. That's a really good lineup. Obviously, we don't think Goodman's going to happen, but it's fun to dream.
I mean, it certainly would be a great ad for you guys in fixing that problem there at catcher, and then another all-pro or all-star level bat there in that lineup. That'd be an incredible and a really hard battle there for any opposing pitcher.
And it's not even like, even if they do put Jeffers in that spot or even Stevenson, it's still a great lineup with everyone healthy.
Waiting for the return. I'm teeth clenched waiting to see what we gave up.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Ramos is a huge name. So definitely no Kirby. I really hope they didn't give up Kirby. I hope they didn't give up Hess. I could see maybe a Caden Kent being in that deal for Heliot Ramos. Could you even see a Will Warren being traded? I know like the Yankees are throwing him around like crazy. I know like he's been in 3 trades that have gotten rejected, Will Warren.
I could see it. Do I think it's likely? No. But do I think it's possible? Yeah.
I like Will Warren. I think, and this is an interesting idea when it comes to the Yankees and their bullpen. With all these names we've been saying for the bullpen, not Mason Miller, of course, but who's the guy in San Diego. I'm blanking on his name. The lefty.
The starting pitcher?
No, the guy that starts with an M. The
Uh,
reliever.
Marajon.
Yeah, him.
He's
Or
nasty.
these guys I've been seeing in Miami. How big of a difference do you think it would be if the Yankees were to put Weathers and or Warren into the bullpen?
Oof.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I think Weathers is a lot more bullpen suited than Warren is.
Yeah, but I'm just saying if you put him into the bullpen, you don't even need to make a trade for that, because when Rodon gets back up here, Schlittler, Fried, Cole, Rodon, and possibly a Clark Schmidt going in there at the 5th spot. That's not bad at all. Not to mention Max Fried on a pitch count has looked absolutely phenomenal since coming back off the IL. He's been great. And I really like Clark Schmidt a lot. I've always been a big Clark Schmidt guy. And
He's just been gone for so long.
What?
He's just been gone for so long. He hasn't
I think
played
he'll be
baseball
fine.
in forever. He needs to get back soon, man. I miss Clark.
He's gearing up, I think, from what I've seen. He's been gearing up. He's been throwing in Somerset, not live ABs, but he's been throwing pens. He's been throwing live at bats, but not in games. He hasn't been suited up on the mound for an actual game, but he's been down there in Somerset with the team, which is definitely a positive sign. I mean, this is his second Tommy John, which definitely draws a little bit concern for a guy like that.
I was looking for that return package here. I'm seeing Mark Feinsand had posted a few minutes ago that the Yankees are close to acquiring Ramosis before the trade went final, and left-handed pitcher and number 5 overall prospect Henry LaLane was believed to be the key cornerstone piece of the return. So not sure if anything else in addition to that. Not sure if that is the final return, but I do know that Henry LaLane, according to Mark Feinsand, is the top piece going back to San Francisco.
I'll be so real. I'm so fine with that.
Yeah.
He's not a name that I think is a must keep.
And I know Cunningham has also been thrown around in a lot of mock trades. I think he's also someone that could get uh-ohs. What we got, Jack?
Red Sox sending Marcelo Meyer to San Fran.
For who?
Interesting.
For some random reliever.
What? The Marcelo Meyer hype train is already over for San Francisco.
For Eric Miller.
Wow. How crazy is it that young core in Boston just fizzled out so fast? Meyer, who's the Georgetown kid that got that big extension? Oh, who is
I don't
he?
know colleges.
Hold on. He got an extension. He got a big extension, actually. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name, but he what I'm losing my mind. He was supposed to be big. He was a huge prospect for Boston coming up.
I don't know colleges that well.
I just know because he's like one of the best. Was it Georgetown or GT? I think it was Georgetown. I don't know. I'm blanking on it when the name comes to mind, but he got extended and he was awful. You also have Anthony Rome.
Campbell?
Yes, Christian Campbell.
Yeah.
Christian Campbell was the one. Yes, and he failed. And you had Roman Anthony, who I think could definitely turn it around, but he was also Blaze Jordan, who's now with the Cardinals, I believe.
Yeah, Campbell was GT.
Okay, he was GT. Okay, not sure. Big difference. I don't think Georgetown's D1 for baseball. But just that whole core just fizzled down, and another one bites the dust. Marcelo Meyer off to San Fran. I was scared, honestly, about that Red Sox team with the core they had building up.
It's just wild they gave up on him so early. Him and Anthony were projected to be like the next dynamic duo, like the next Bernie and Jeter per se in the American League East, and now they just give up on him so quickly. It's been a year?
Yeah, not even. I think Campbell got hurt, but he got called up. He had an insane start, And that's when I was like, "Oop." He's like, he's the truth. And then he just was absolutely horrendous, fell off a cliff, got hurt, hasn't been the same since, but he did sign his name on the dotted line. Same thing with Roman Anthony. They both got extended.
Crazy stuff.
I don't think Meyer signed a contract, though.
I thought he did. Am I missing?
I'm much interested there to see why the Giants were the destination of all teams. You know, they've been trading guys all day. They've now sent out 3 different players with Ramos going away to New York. So interesting to see them buy a guy like Meyer, and maybe that's a piece for next year trying to replenish.
They traded Robbie Ray too.
Yes, it's true.
Another miniature move that just went down. A guy who's been with Colorado since 2017 in Antonio Senzatella will be heading to the Milwaukee Brewers. So a very interesting move there. I remember I pulled his rookie auto out of Topps Chrome back in the day. So that's a interesting move for the Brewers pitching machine to maneuver a little bit.
Speaking of, I'll go back to the Red Sox. I know we were talking about the Red Sox and trades. Do we see Jarren Duran possibly get moved?
I know my dad's a massive fan of Duran just because he wants to see the Phillies fans outside the stadium start selling Duran shirts there. Joan Duran and Jarren Duran, obviously the different pronunciations of the names, but that famous band coming in. So we're hoping for that, at least for my family. But Duran is another great player. I mean, I have no real issues with him. A great hitter for the batting order, and it really solved my problem for the Phillies that they really need to get figured out at some point.
I think the only thing is he's been horrendous this season. He's batting 200. Did you say my name?
Low candidate.
Yeah, I mean,
George, I'm very intrigued with some wording right here. So John Heyman just posted Yankees still inquiring on righty hitters, pen help, and backup catchers.
I don't like the sound
Why
of that.
is the word backup there?
I don't like the sound of that because we have a backup catcher. His name is Austin. He's got a mustache.
Why is he saying backup catcher?
I don't like that word either.
And come get your locker room DJ and Garrett Stubbs from Philly.
Oh, man.
I don't like that.
That's brutal.
I mean, maybe they traded for a starting catcher and they're getting a backup as well. Maybe they're going the Red Sox route. They got Jake Rogers and Adley Rutschman. They really established a great catching room. But that I don't like that at all. I mean, Heyman is notoriously he has a notorious blunder with the Yankees with Arson Judge. But that's concerning. What was the other besides backup catcher? What did he say?
Righty hitters and pen help. Which
Righty
does
hitters.
make sense.
When was this sent out?
A minute ago.
Okay, so this is after the Ramos trade.
Ramos.
Righty hitters, like if they add another righty hitter, where are they going to put him besides catcher? I guess a third baseman or anywhere on the infield for all I care besides first. Pen help, definitely. You can never have too much of that, but I don't like the term. I don't like the word backup catcher at all.
We also do have pen help just sitting in the minors. His name is Carlos.
Is he back?
No, but he will be soon, hopefully.
I saw a video of him throwing, so that's good to see.
Also, another player to note here, Joel Sherman has posted from the New York Post that the return package for Helio Ramos will be Henry Lane, the number 5 prospect, and Caden Kent, the number 13 prospect.
Oh,
man. I don't know how I feel about that. That makes me – I don't know. I like Kent. I liked what I saw. Did Jack disappear?
I was fine with the Lane move, but now the Caden Kent part's making me flip a little bit.
That's, yeah. For Helio Ramos, like, listen, we've had 2 moves with the Yankees that were not really expected. The Garcia trade I'm fine with, but the Ramos trade just makes me say, why? Why Helio Ramos when you have a crowded outfield? You have to do something else. You have to do something with these outfielders. You can't have 15% of your roster be outfielders.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to turn into.
I really don't like moving Caden Kent, man.
35 minutes left to go.
That being said, that trade is not final. I don't believe it. I'm not sure that is the official return. That's just what Sherman is saying. But he says when the trade is officially finalized, as of 3 minutes ago, it'll be Lane and Kent going back. So 5 and 13 for Ramos.
I don't know if he's that good. It just also begs the question, why?
It does.
Why? What was the point of this trade? If they don't trade Dominguez and or Jones for a premier player, that will be one of the stupidest trades I have ever seen as a Yankee fan. No shade to Heliot Ramos. He's not a bad player per se, but it makes absolutely no sense if they don't trade Dominguez and Jones for a premier option. It makes complete, utter nonsense to me if they don't get anything else. To have 6 guys. There's only 3 outfield spots. You're just going to have 6 quality players sitting on the bench? Make that make sense to me.
I'm very iffy on where the Yankees are right now.
I don't like the past 2 tweets you guys have read me with the backup catcher thing and then just the Caden Kent too. Caden Kent would have been a good move. I feel like a lot of teams would have been. I feel like the Twins would have loved that. I feel like the Reds would have loved that. Definitely the Rockies would have. You know, that's someone you save to go get a nice player, someone above Heliot Ramos's level. Not Heliot Ramos on top of your 5 overall prospect.
The second Caden Kent report has been posted.
Man, I don't like this. This is stupid.
Uh-oh.
What?
Like the Caden Kent thing. I'm still
okay.
I'm still on that. No, nothing new yet.
It also seems like that package for Senzatela was finalized. 2 non-top 30 prospects going to the Rockies for him. Mark Manfredi, pitcher, and Juan Martinez, a shortstop.
That seems like more of a likely package for Ramos than a 5 and a 13 to me.
Not entirely wrong.
Cashman better have something worked up. He better have something, man.
This has been a weird deadline so far.
I'm so confused right now. I'm so confused. It just feels like the Yankees have no real goal in mind. There's just no real goal, determination. There's no idea in mind. I don't know, man. That just is weird to me. He's going to leave us confused, Cashman, till the very end, I feel like.
I mind you, there's still big pieces left to fall as well. Casey Mize still on the market.
That's true.
Yeah. As much as I've seen rumors about him going, and I think he still might go, I'm not entirely convinced of that fact. Because the Tigers, for trading Skubal, you're only going downhill 1 out of every 5 games in your rotation in a perfect world. So it's not like you suddenly became terrible, you're giving away an everyday player. He can only factor in once every 5 days. So I'm not sure you want to blow up the entire organization just because you let go of your best player, which, yeah, it's going to be a big loss, and you're probably going to lose more of those 5th games than you would win. But do you give up Casey Mize then? Like, is it really worth it? I think it would have to be a big package there because they're only 1 year away from 1 year separated from a playoff appearance. So I don't see much of a problem here with letting go of one guy. You can always replace him as well. At least get some wins back.
Here's my take on it. I think the Tigers are going all in on their minor league system. I think with McGonigal coming up this year, Max Clark just getting called up, getting Zaire Hope in the Skubal trade, and having some other guys coming up throughout the next few years, I think they just want to move on from the team they have right now, and it's kind of confusing to me.
It is. I feel like I don't even know. When you look at the Tigers, and so many teams are just preparing to win the World Series this year because a lot of teams are just cautious about the possible lockout. They're making all these moves to win now. Every team's in win now mode. the Tigers are kind of just preparing for the future. They're almost playing the deadline like a rebuild game. To me, that's kind of what I'm seeing. But I love Max Clark. I love Kevin McGonigal. I really like the guy they got from the Dodgers, even though to get Skubal, you got to give. But we'll see what happens with them. I mean, they still have a team, even without Skubal. They still have a team that can not only win that division, but make a playoff run in the American League just because of how weak it is.
Yeah, entirely possible, entirely true. It's going to be an interesting playoff run now because the Tigers, with them selling, the White Sox have a clear open path now. The only team really competing with them is Cleveland, but they're not even too competitive this year.
Yeah, they just got rid of Eli White, Cleveland. So
the third Katie Kent report has just been dropped as well.
It's definite.
Yeah.
It's definite, man.
No.
Hey, listen, if they go out and I don't even know how to make sense of this. You know, I'm hoping. My fingers are crossed. My toes are even crossed right now that Brian Cashman makes something out of this madness. Because when Jack was like, Heliot Ramos, I was like, okay. Huh. Heliot Ramos. Okay. Why? I still am trying to figure out the reason for getting Heliot Ramos, and I can't find any other than they have bigger plans in store.
Did we need to make this move?
No, not at all.
And it's like the Yankees are prioritizing moves they are able to make, not the moves they should make. It's been a relatively dead last 10 minutes with nothing going through.
We've definitely had a lot to talk about, though, just because of how complex this Heliot Ramos trade is. Like, if it feels like this is just a riddle. Like, what does this mean for the Yankees, Heliot Ramos? I don't know what to think of it, but you know, you're entering the final half hour. You know, 27 minutes left on the clock, and if you're the Yankees, you know,
here we go.
We got something, Caden.
Nationals are trading all-star left-handed pitcher Foster Griffin to the Guardians.
Isn't he a rookie?
Yeah,
certainly young. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he played overseas is the thing.
Japan. Okay, he played like 3 years in Japan.
That's crazy to me.
He's 31. Yeah,
he's a guy that
he debuted in 2020.
He's had an absolutely amazing year, though. 12-3, 3.06 ERA. That's a great get for Cleveland.
No, it's not.
Well,
you got to look at the underlying metrics. He's gotten so unbelievably lucky.
I'm looking at them right now.
Look at his metrics right now. Look at Baseball Savant.
I'm on Baseball Savant. Expected ERA 4.07. Not a high strikeout guy. He does not miss the barrel at all.
All he does is he limits the walks. That's it. Everything else has been pure luck so far.
Yeah, I mean, he gets hit pretty hard. His barrel rate is pretty atrocious. How 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitches this dude throws. Wow.
Yeah.
You're to see what that return is then.
It cannot be much. There's no way.
Ground ball rate's decently high. Average fastball velo at 91. Oh.
A 31-year-old in the 10th percentile in fastball velocity that gets absolutely crushed.
Yeah, look at his barrel rate.
And fastball run value, for what it's worth.
Look at his barrel rate. A 23 percentile. Hard hit at 55.
Caden, you want to know why that is?
Sure.
He levels the cutter and the four seam.
So you're looking at the right side of the screen.
That's still an important thing to have, though.
It is, but, you know, his expected ERA is a full point higher than his actual ERA. So
Yeah, Jack, I'm looking. I see what you. I'm looking at the left side of the right side, excuse me, of my screen as well on Baseball Savant.
I see what you mean there, but I'm also not going to look at expected ERA
I
and
don't. I don't use that
value
as
the
much
player
either.
as that expected ERA. Like he has the ERA that he has, and sure that could go up now, being on a different team, different setting, whatever variables might be thrown in there. But I do think he's still a good pitcher. Like it's not a bad trade at all, assuming the package in return is not.
Yeah, I want to see the package.
Yeah, that would be my really assessment on this trade. Because you can
Well,
get
here's
Aaron Judge if you pay the entire franchise for him.
it depends on how long Cleveland expects to use him. If they want him to be a staple in their rotation for years to come, expected stats are a very good way to tell that. You could tell from last year, Ben Rice's expected stats were a lot better than his actual numbers. What did he do the next year? He leveled out and he went to what was expected for him. His numbers this year look a lot like what was expected of him last year. It's typically a pretty good way to tell future performance, even though it's not current. And it looks like the Nationals are getting 4 players back.
I'll say this: I've never seen Foster Griffin pitch, and last year I saw pretty much every one of Ben Rice's games, and I just saw him just hitting frozen ropes right at the center fielder's face for lineouts. So I saw the Ben Rice thing. I mean, I feel like hitters too, it's a lot more predictable. You could just look at Rice. In Rice's case, you could just look at his average exit velocity, his barrel rates. You just saw this guy was absolutely hitting the crap out of the baseball. Just unlucky. I feel like pitchers, it's a little harder to tell with them, but well, we got
Jeff Hoffman to the Twins.
okay. Are the Twins buying?
I don't know now.
Oh my gosh. If the Yankees just sit with Heliot Ramos and don't do anything else.
I mean, I don't think it's a dumb move for them to buy at all. Again, we're only one game out of the wild card.
Not at all, no.
Very interesting deadline.
I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous.
What an up and down year for Blue Jays fans. You go from the AL champs to now offloading a lot of different pieces. Even though you do get some guys back like Soriano, maybe trying to build up for next year still, but yeah, it's not been a great year for them at all. As I'm sure you guys know, as a division rival.
Yeah, it's been good to see. I don't know. I'm worried, honestly, as a Yankee fan. I'm starting to get a little bit of nerves creeping in on me with everything I've seen. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I don't like the Ramos trade. I think it's going to be horrific to have that many guys in the outfield. I think Jones and Dominguez, if you really want them to be the superstars they can be, they need consistency. If you have a 6-man carousel of outfielders, not even to mention what the hell you're doing, at first base and at DH, when Stanton comes back with Goldschmidt, Rice, and Garcia, like this just makes no sense for the Yankees at all. And if you want these young guys to play to their full potential, if you want Jones to keep doing what he's doing and Dominguez, they need consistency. And if you're just going to have Ramos join the party and Garcia join the party, I'm not mad about Garcia, and you're going to have Judge come back from injury, Bellinger come back, Stanton come back. There's no room. You can't provide consistency. Trade them for all I care, but if you don't trade them, this is a complete and utter failure.
And not to stray too far off course with that, but Kevin Rosenthal strikes again where he says Griffin Foster is heading to the Guardians. So someone please let him know that when you see a comma in between two names, it does not mean to continue writing it like that.
My Twitter has not been working for like 5 minutes.
I can tell
Jack,
you.
how are we feeling as Yankee fan? What are you thinking with the current situation with the Yankees right now as a Yankee fan yourself?
I'm so unbelievably confused. There is so many factors to think about here in the whole catching thing and the whole will Clark Schmidt come back in time thing and the outfield dilemma. I feel like we've dug ourselves even deeper in a hole despite getting more talented players, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. There has to be a bigger plan. Now, I'll give you an interesting name who I mentioned earlier in the stream. Would you give up Jones and or Dominguez for an Otto Lopez?
I like Otto Lopez a lot.
And maybe you can. I know Miami has a surplus, honestly, of bullpen arms. Maybe you get some of those as well. I mean, I'd be okay with that move, 100%. I'm just pulling up Lopez's. Oh my gosh, his baseball savant is beautiful.
I do love his baseball savant page. It is
321 and OPS 833, 9 long balls. Oh my gosh, this is great.
Because he's a good hitter, he's a good base runner, he's a good fielder.
I know.
And that's what you need in a guy. He doesn't strike out too much. He doesn't walk either, and he does chase a good bit. But
He's
that's
very Tim Anderson-esque, prime
Yeah.
Tim Anderson-esque.
Yeah, prime Tim Anderson, in case you weren't clear with that. Prime Tim Anderson, not Angels Tim Anderson.
Speaking of the Angels, would you even I'd give up Dominguez and or Jones for Zach Neto.
Ooh.
I mean,
I
if we
think
want
he's
to talk about
too
baseball
expensive,
savant pages, don't look at Zach Neto's. It's pretty gross. Not in a good way, but
I think he's going to be too expensive. I really
you
do.
think so?
Yeah.
Hey, they traded Joe Adell. They traded Soriano. Did Soler didn't get moved, right?
No, not yet, at least.
Future Yankee watch. If the Yankees go Jorge Soler, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
All right, the return for Hoffman is out. The Twins gave up their number 7 prospect, their number 17, and someone not in their top 30.
There's an and on that. Wow. Like, I'm not a big Hoffman hater, but 7 and 17 for the guy plus more. That's a bit much.
I agree, Caden.
That's what it looks like.
As a Yankee fan, I'm just watching the clock. 18 minutes now left, and I'm just sitting here thinking. I mean, I think the word is confused. Just why? I'm unhappy if that clock runs to 0 and this is the Yankees' deadline. I'm not happy with it at all.
I'm not either.
You know, close. I'm not the most content yet either. I still think we need either a starting pitcher or a right-handed bat. I'm not sure how many right-handed bats there are left, but like you still have Casey Mize there. Like, can we make a push or something?
What about Soler?
I don't hate Soler.
What about George Springer for the Phillies?
I don't mind Springer either. I really don't mind Springer at all.
I saw his name possible. Like,
He could.
I think that would be a good move for them.
I did see that the Blue Jays are not trading Eovaldi, so maybe they're going to go with someone else now. If they do anyone else.
Springer, he's been hurt this year, but when he's played, he hasn't been half bad. I mean, last year he was insane. Why don't we talk about his year last? Like last year, he had 32 homers. I had no idea he was that good.
Nearly at 1,000 OPS as well. They're at 959.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Stole 18 bags too.
I'll say Springer's savant page more looks like his jersey color than the Phillies jersey color, which is unfortunate. But you know, the chase rate's up there. The chase rate's good. 84% for chase rate, and that's always important because that's the one thing I don't like with Kevin Long and this coaching staff right now is that Phillies consistently chase balls. That's been their biggest issue. That's why I really love the Arias get because he's good at getting the bat in the ball. He's getting solid contact there. He's not really going to get fooled by too many outside curves and all that different type of stuff. But it's Springer. That's his strong point. I don't mind that as long as you're not giving up too much for him. But yeah, it's a good get.
Caden, here's the thing. You see that 2026 MLB percentile rankings at the top?
Yep.
Go to 2025.
How?
Like you see the at the top of the screen,
thinking the same thing.
6 percentile rankings. You hit the number and go to 2025.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it was the same team for that.
Very much very Philly-esque.
But do you see how it looks, how crazy it is between 1 year? Do you think he can bounce back to that?
Coming off an injury, yes.
But I go
I
at
think
24
he
and
could go.
23 and even 22 a little bit. The 22 not as much, but 24 and 23 are more like this year as well. So a
Wow,
little bit
we could
inconsistent.
go all the way back to Springer's years.
Yeah, it's really interesting looking at the players and how they change their numbers throughout the year.
I love Baseball Savant so much.
But 2025 was such a crazy good year for him, and you wonder why.
Cheating? No, I'm just kidding. He brought it to Toronto.
Cheating.
I just saw that last name come up for the package for Hoffman. It's Desan Hill, John Klein, and Demuri Pena. Apologies if I mispronounced that name, but that's what I'm guessing. But yeah, I just said Desan Hill, number 7, John Klein, number 17, and then Pena not ranked in the top 30. I think it's a bit much. 3 guys for Hoffman. And again, Hoffman's fine, but he's another guy that's a little more inconsistent on his side of things. And then 2 top 20 prospects is a little bit overpriced, even with that third guy there in Pena.
Doesn't look like anything new has come through.
From Heyman, Padres are trying to land either Nootbaar, Burleson, or Larnach to fill lefty need. I've seen Nootbaar and Burleson, for that matter. Their names have been thrown around a lot this afternoon.
Yeah, the Cardinals in a very interesting spot.
Ah, man. Getting closer and closer.
Yeah, clock's trying to tick down now to
There it is.
15
The
minutes.
return for Griffin.
Interesting.
All right, time to look at the Guardian system.
If you want names, I got the system.
All right, here we go. So
Nathan Eovaldi will not be traded.
the first guy in the package is not in their top 30.
Okay.
The second guy is their number 25. The third
Josh Harlow.
guy is not there. And the fourth guy
4 guys. Wow.
is also not there. What on earth?
So I guess they're going for quantity over quality in this one. So only one top
Sure.
30 prospect. I think it's a fine move. I'm not really sure about the quantity aspect of it, but like I'm always in favor of trading prospects for the guys that have already proven themselves. And while Griffin's only had the one good year, I consider him to be an MLB talent. He's proven himself. So, I mean, I'd be fine with that trade if I'm a Guardians fan. There's not really much there that you lost. Only 25 prospect, and even that's a guy that's back into your system. Maybe not someone that's going to do a ton in the majors.
Yeah, it didn't give up much at all.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. It's probably like a high B range, maybe even A- there for Guardians. I give him on that trade. Still haven't seen any more major news just yet.
No, nothing.
I'm hearing rumors for Volpe to the Savannah Bananas. There's that.
Do they got a catcher?
They don't. The Party Animals do, though.
I'd take any catcher. I'd take Vaughn Lackey on the Yankees over Wells.
Here comes the Von Lackey thing.
That's the best player in the draft class, but people don't want to admit it.
All right, bro.
Right after the Heyman post just a minute ago about Nootbaar, the Arizona Diamondbacks are acquiring Lars Nootbaar from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Ooh, whoa.
I
Yeah,
don't think
Billy Castillo reposted by Passan.
Division rival.
Cardinals and Diamondbacks.
No. The Padres, who were going to try to get him earlier.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I heard the Padres are very interested in him, but I guess the Diamondbacks come in at the very last second. We'll see what that return looks like as well.
I like that move.
Yeah, it's a solid move there from Nootbaar.
Still waiting for the Yankees to get a catcher. Gotta get King Von. Everyone's oohing and ahhing over Rock and Grady Emerson, but 3 years, 4 years time, it's all going to be Vaughn Lackey. Dalton Varsho to the Astros.
Yeah, that was a weird one to
Yeah.
me.
A weird deadline.
I saw he was rumored to go to the Phillies a few times, and I did not like that. He's another one of those guys that's like solid defensively, but we have enough of those defensive players already. We need someone that can really get the bat in the ball, and that's why I like the Arias move. But I think we still need one more of those type of guys, like a right-handed hitter. Because if you look at our batting order, you have Schwarber, Harper, Arias, Stott over there on the left side, and then you come on the right side, so Realmuto and friends. Maybe Bohm there if he can start turning it on and continue what he's had for a while, but there's not a ton there besides Turner and maybe Bohm and Realmuto. And even Realmuto is now in the back end of his, I guess, prime, if you want to call him prime anymore. I wouldn't even say that. But very underwhelming season this year offensively for him.
Down to 10 minutes.
Oh, boy. I mean, the Dodgers also got Ben Rortvedt. I mean, wow.
They did, yeah.
Definitely a lockout now.
Where I need to head out.
All right, Jack.
But it's been a
Peace
pleasure,
out.
boys. Great talking. Have a great rest of the 9 minutes of the deadline.
I hope so.
Will do.
All right. See you guys.
And then there were two. So, Kane, I've said the Yankees, I want them to just get a catcher, to get something. What, in these final few minutes, what do you want to see the Phillies get?
I need a back end pitcher.
Okay.
I hated the way this past offseason went. They got rid of, so they didn't get rid of him, but they let him go. Let Ranger Suarez go, my favorite player. I got his jersey on right now in his memory. But then they decided they're going to go with a bullpen style game at the fifth end starter with Taijuan Walker starting, which just when I heard that, I knew that there was something going on in the organization because Taijuan Walker and starter in the same sitting should not exist. But then you let Matt Strahm go, so then you have no relief depth there. They brought some guys back in. They had two more guys today. They came in for the bullpen system, but I needed a guy that can really come in there and be a fourth or fifth starter. We have enough here for a 4-starter system, maybe 3, with guys like Luzardo, Wheeler, Sanchez, and now Nola if he starts to heat up a little bit. But I don't trust Nola as much as I did, so we can get someone in there. Like I wanted Robbie Ray earlier, but Casey Mize is even better. Like he's just that much better than Ray, and he's still sitting there. I know that the Tigers are shopping him around, so I'm just hoping for something here the very last second. We got to run a few minutes before the 6 p.m. deadline last year, so I'm praying for something big like that.
Yeah, same thing with Duvall, but Duvall was post 6 o'clock. The notification came across, so you never know. I mean, it just, as a Yankee fan, Jack just kept saying it, and I think that's a perfect word. So confusing, so confusing, just to get an outfielder. Not even a great outfielder, just an all right outfielder. He's not moving the needle at all. I just don't see the point. You got to do something with them. I mean, I love Dominguez, I love Jones, but with this Ramos move, you pretty much have to trade them. There's just no reason to let them sit on the bench and rot away. Unless poor Heliot Ramos is just going to get traded to the Bronx and not see an at-bat. He's just going to be twiddling his thumbs on the bench when everyone comes back.
Yeah, this is true. I hope for you guys say that's not a situation like we saw with the Sixers this past year, not to go to a different sport all of a sudden, but where they trade guys like Jared McCain for picks, and then they try to go after guys like Giannis and then don't actually come off with a trade. So then you get stuck with a rock and a hard place behind you, and yeah, then nothing really happens. So I'm hoping that if Cashman's trying to do this, he has something lined up here where he can go for a guy like another catcher up there and be able to use those pieces for a big move. But yeah, every minute that passes by, it seems less likely now down to 7 minutes to go.
I think definitely Dominguez and Jones could get you a Jeffers. I think you can even make the conversation they could get you a Goodman. I think that's definitely a plausible option. And like I said, you know, I love the more I think about it, the more I love the Luis Garcia trade, just to have another stud bat in that lineup. You're gonna have Judge back. You're gonna have Bellinger in there. You're gonna have freaking Ben Rice, who's a monster. You're gonna have Garcia's bat in there now, and you could either have Jeffers or Goodman possibly in there. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all. I think I've always been a big Goodman fan. This year, he's really started to improve in my liking. So I think that'd be a good move for you guys. And again, like you was talking about that previous batting order, the hypothetical one, if you added Goodman to it, that's a great setup there. You have a good system going around with able to bounce things off other guys in that batting order. So I think that really improved for you guys, but I am not sure at this point. I talk about time running down again, but yeah, I'm not sure anymore.
I think even Stevenson improved. Like I'll keep saying, anything is an improvement from Austin Wells. So even if they get a Tyler Stevenson, who's not having a bad year per se at all, he's batting 256, 9 homers, OPS 759. He's been fine, honestly. I like he's got a high walk rate, a very low chase rate. He's in the 92nd percentile for that. He barrels the ball up a lot. I mean, if you want to talk about being unlucky or not unlucky, his expected batting average is 256. His actual batting average is 256. He's been pretty spot on in terms of luck. Fantastic defensively behind the plate, blocking wise, nothing's getting past him. So if this is the move the Yankees do make, not mad at all by that. I'm not going to be upset with Tyler Stevenson at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad if I were you either. But I'm seeing the Mets are not expecting any more deals to be done.
That makes sense.
Yeah, 8 total trades during this cycle. So we'll see.
Nothing major for the Mets. That's crazy. What a fall off.
This also says the Blue Jays also get an international bonus and pool space from the Twins in that Trevor Hoffman deal.
They got a lot from the Hoffman deal.
Excuse me, but yeah. That's 4 players and international bonus. That's absurd for a guy like Hoffman.
Definitely is. I mean, back to the Mets, though. What a failure the first 2 years of the Juan Soto era has been for the Mets. And in no fault to Juan Soto. He's been as advertised in his first 2 seasons with the Mets, but what a letdown they've been to him. And I'm a Yankee fan. I'll say this. I feel bad for the guy. You know, and I don't want to hear anything about he came for money. The Mets were still a good ball club when he went there. They were coming off an NLCS run. They were looking pretty scary, honestly. So it made sense why he signed with them. He just wants to win. And at the end of the day, they have been a losing ball club. And again, not in part to him. He's been phenomenal since coming over to Queens. They just haven't done anything else around him. The management's been horrific. They already fired their manager. The biggest issue, though, is 100% David Stearns. He's just ruined that team for the Mets. You know, they made this big trade for Freddie Peralta, and a few hours ago, they traded him over to the Rays because he's been horrific this year for the Mets. They signed Luke Weaver, and who's been great for the Mets, but now they have to trade him to the Pirates. They brought in Devin Williams, who hasn't been that good. They let Edwin Diaz walk out the door. They let Pete Alonso walk out the door. They thought Jorge Polanco was the answer. He wasn't. They thought Mark Vientos was the answer. He wasn't. And now it's back around the prospect carousel. We go with the Mets. They've had so many guys who have looked promising, who have never done it. They're going through the same thing with Benj, who I do think has somewhat of a future. Vientos, though, he's awful. Mauricio, he's awful. It's just such I can't even imagine what it's like to be a Met fan right now. All the turmoil they must be going through.
My freshman year roommate was not having it during this past offseason with losing Pete Alonso and guys like that. But not to interrupt that statement there, as you were pretty much right on every point you made, but 2 trades going down, as you were saying.
Big trades. Cleveland
Guardians are acquiring Nathaniel Lau in a trade with the Cincinnati Reds, and the Miami Marlins are acquiring right-handed reliever Victor Vodnik from the Colorado Rockies in exchange for infielder Connor Norby and right-hander Aiden May.
I like the Lau trade. I think that's an interesting trade for the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, excuse me, for the Guardians, you said, right? Yeah. The Guardians are obviously gearing up to try to make a run, and I think it's definitely possible. There's no reason they shouldn't be competitive in this division in the wild card race.
Yeah, Nootbaar and Lau going to that team now. That's 2 good additions. Maybe not one being a true superstar by any means, but 2 very solid players that could always turn it on at any point. And yeah, it's good work by Cleveland. They'll get some moves in here in the final half hour or so. And now dying minutes, maybe one more buzzer beater trade coming through. And going over to Miami move, then Victor Vodnik from Colorado. That's another big name going there.
Oh boy, this is rough if you're a Yankee fan. I'll say my piece after the deadline, after the final seconds tick off. But it's bad if they don't do anything. It's literally subtraction by addition, which should not even be possible for the Yankees. That mathematically should not even be possible. But then again, the Yankees proved to do the impossible.
You're not wrong there at all.
So they got what? We got they're at 6 o'clock now.
Yep.
So we shall see. Give it to a 6:05. I'll give my closing piece. Caden will give his, and then I think that does it. I mean, we've had some viewers scatter in and out, which has been pretty good to see. If anyone has stayed on for the whole show, definitely would be few of you. But if you have, thank you very much. I appreciate that support. A little just on the fly show. Wasn't advertised at all beforehand, just kind of an on the fly thing. But yeah, like I said, closing statements coming soon. Just a confusing deadline.
Yeah, a little bit. And as you said, thanks to all viewers that tuned in today. They very little advertised, and yeah, it was a very fun show to have. Obviously, Jack was on for quite a while before a few minutes ago, but yeah, we'll see if anything comes across the screen a little bit late. But here we go. Casey Mize to the Padres.
Really?
So there is a buzzer beater move, and it is a big one. Just I was about to say that Casey Mize does not get moved. He does go to San Diego, so that is a big time late move for a guy like I talked about before. The Tigers only losing one start out of every 5 days with Tarik Skubal. So I guess they are really going for a rebuild now, maybe trying to cycle around their pitching staff before next year. But only 1 year separated from that playoff run. I'm extremely confused as to why they doubled down on that, even with losing Skubal. Mize is a very solid pitcher, not Skubal's level, but he's certainly someone that can step up into that role as your top pitcher. He's not bad by any means, but now going off to San Diego.
And I got another trade for you. Kirby Yates to the Pirates. Little move right there. Filtering in. What time we got? We got 6:01. So yeah, I mean, you could still see moves filter in. But this just makes me say, what's going on? This, honestly, I've been saying how it looks like stupidity that they didn't trade Dominguez or Jones, but now it's a little concerning. Is there something they're not telling us with the injuries with Judge, the injuries with Stanton, the injuries with Bellinger? If they feel the need to get all these outfielders, is there something they're not letting us know with the injuries? That's what I'm starting to think about. That's concerning to me.
You do make a very good point there, and that's certainly something that would look likely if all two of these guys coming in, Garcia and Ramos, are supposed to make big impacts in this outfield. And yeah, I would expect that to be the case here. And at least one of those three may be out for an extended period of time. And yeah, I'm just not following as closely as I would like to those Yankees injury reports. But yeah, it's something very, very much something to watch here.
There haven't been much, honestly. And when they have, they've been very, very bland. There hasn't been much to them. So it's honestly looking more concerning to me, the fact that they feel the need to get more outfielders. 6:03-ish.
Yeah, I love that Casey Mize get. And it's ironic the Padres getting the two pitchers that I hope the Phillies got the most, Robbie Ray and Casey Mize, both going there. So I really, this has not been a good deadline for the Phillies. As much as I love the Arias move, they did not handle their most important problem, and that was the starting pitching.
Especially with the Padres only being a game back in the wild card of the Phillies. And at the top, 4 games ahead are the Cubs. I think they're one of the biggest, if not the biggest, winners of the deadline, besides, of course, the San Diego Padres. And as much as I hate to admit it, the Boston Red Sox are big winners this deadline. But I think that's it. So let me give my closing statements. I think Caden will give his, and then that's a wrap. So like I said, the winners, we got to give it to the Cubs, the Red Sox, the Padres, and the losers. I can't see this Yankee team do anything. You have arguably the worst player, not just the worst catcher, but arguably the worst player in Major League Baseball who gets that many at-bats. Austin Wells is atrocious. And let me put it this way. In that Cubs series, The Yankees scored 2 runs all those games, not combined, but in each game. There was no offense for the New York Yankees, and they haven't shown a lot of offense recently. So the fact that they didn't really, that obviously Garcia's an upgrade, but a chain is only as strong as their weakest link. And when you have a guy playing every day who's batting 161, his on base percentage is 265, he is slugging 272 for an OPS of a grand 537, and he's playing every day for you. What logic does that make that he's still here? And what logic does it make that you now have 6 outfielders that you could start? Why? What's the point? It makes 0 sense to have 6 outfielders and not capitalize on the trade opportunities. The Yankees could have got a catcher today. They could have got some bullpen help. They could have got another starter if they wanted to. They could have got a third baseman or anyone to play the left side of the infield, but they chose not to. Now their hands are tied. They're going to look like a bunch of idiots come the fall because the lineup is going to be different every single game. When come playoffs, you need consistency for these young players. You have 2 of the best young outfielders in the game in Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones, and yet they're going to be scratching their heads every day come August and September saying, am I going to be in the lineup today because Heliot Ramos is here? He's going to be taking away your ABs for some reason that I am still struggling to find. That's what I got to say. It makes no sense to me. I am puzzled. I am confused. I am frustrated, and I'm going through the 5 stages of grief. Caden, what do you got?
Well, for starters, kudos on that. I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head for the Yankees' perspective, and John Heyman tweeting that the Yankees have not done anything besides what is being reported already. So pretty much everything there does reign true following that closing statement. And I was going to start my statement off by saying I was pissed the Phillies didn't get a guy like a Ray or Mize. I am still mad about the Ray thing, but Casey Mize package was just released. The Padres getting Mize and Gage Workman. The Tigers get Cash Mayfield, the number 2 overall prospect in the Padres system. So I'm not sure I would be willing to part with a Dante Nori level guy, a Arun Escobar maybe for the Phillies, but that would have to be one of the 2 players that goes back in return for the Phillies to have gotten Mize. Jackson Wolf also going to San Diego in that move. So I'll start there. I think the Phillies didn't handle their biggest issue. They did not get a starting pitcher that they needed. Mize, Ray, Dustin May even are all off the board now, and obviously they can't go back in time and go get them anymore. So I don't love it. I love the Arias move, though. We needed a good offensive hitter. We got him. He strings left side of the plate, but I needed some help on the right side. That was less futile, though, than the pitching staff. You have Sanchez and Mueller at the top. Luzardo has been rough at home. He's a 4+ ERA at home games. Ironically, way better on the road, but regardless, you're going to have some home playoff games, and now your third pitcher is not all that good at home. Aaron Nola has been Aaron Nola off and on, injured last year. Who even knows this guy anymore? And then number 5 is just a complete crapshoot no matter what day of the week you have. You have Andrew Painter getting called up the other day again for a second stint for the first one when it got as poorly as it possibly could have. And I really just don't know. The bullpen got some help. That's good to have, but the bullpen's only going to throw 2-3 innings a game if your starting pitching is good. So now you got to bank on these guys having 3, 4, even 5 relievers come into games sometimes, and all 5 have to be on their A game for a team that has really been hurt by the bullpen play in these last few playoff series. The bullpen blew the series against Arizona in 2023. You could argue they blew the series against Toronto in 2024. Last year, they didn't help the team at all with the Dodgers having taken advantage pretty easily, and obviously Ryan Kerkering putting the final nail in the coffin that season. I don't blame him too much, but it's just a rough look. And I think the Phillies are going to be a playoff team still, but they're not going to do much. They might win one playoff series there, losing the DS. The Dodgers most likely is one of the bottom seeds in the wild card, and we'll just see what happens. But I give this traded on maybe a C for the Phillies. It's good get for Arias, but he's still a rental, and even the 2 relievers that you got are rentals as well. So I'm not sure.
I'd go C+ for the Yankees. It would definitely be in the B range if they didn't get the Ramos. I don't know how adding a player makes your team worse. It's beyond me. I love the Garcia move, though, and we'll see what happens with the Yankees. But again, we thank everyone for watching. I'm George Sula, joined by Caden Stewart and Jack Dobbins previously before he had to run off. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Like we said, a very poorly advertised show on our part, Just sort of just threw it up there, but had pretty decent numbers for the most part. And who knows, maybe more shows to come in the future. Those will be better advertised, I promise. But then again, thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe because we are doing this on YouTube. My Instagram, you see it right there. It's Swinging for the Fences. Jax is the Playoff Push podcast. Caden, what's yours for everyone out there?
Not popular on YouTube, but if you follow my Instagram at Caden Stewart Broadcast, I do a lot of work with these two, and it's really good quality. We have some interviews as well with Adley Rushman, just got traded from the All-Star Red Carpet, so a lot of good content there. Be sure to check that out. CAYDEN Stewart Broadcasting on Instagram.
All right, perfect. And yeah, so tune in next time. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone has a great day.